Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantigam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Yeah. So we are continuing the chapter number 6, following a Brijvasi in Vansa Siddha Deha. Siddha Deha is obtainable only after liberation. And that means one should have a Nishtha stage progressing towards the attraction, rati, towards a Brijvasi, so we can follow. By following means we have to hear what he speaks, how he speaks, and enter into his realized state to appreciate whether we fit in the same mood or not. It is very important that Haribol, turn off your mic. Anyway, in the beginning, it might be a trial and error through the guidance of the spiritual master, but we have to enter in the mood of a Brijvasi, adapt his style of worship with thorough understanding, and see whether we are getting upliftment and intensity of the pleasure in those particular descriptions of him about Lord Shri Krishna. This is to follow a Brijvasi, means our 6 Goswamis and the predecessor Acharya in their line, who have been the stalwart leaders of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in Vrindavan. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Baldev Vidyabhushan. Just like Srila Prabhupada also appreciated the explanation of Baldev Vidyabhushan to install Radharani in Jaipur, and the mood and mission was accomplished. And today, such worship is done very gorgeously. People are more attracted towards it. Every time Radha Govind temple is filled with Jaipur Vasis, we also go because we are in the same line of disciplic succession. So, understanding the mood and mission of Baldev Vidyabhushan, we should be also equipped with the arguments that he used for the Shakti Tattva, the predominant Tattva, and that is Hara. So he was able to establish the worship of the Shakti Tattva and Shaktiman Tattva Govindji. So Radharani was pompously installed along with. Whenever we see Radha Krishna, their personification. They are personification of Shakti, Shaktiman Tattva. So this is the advantage that we are, by following, we are getting a very cooked, nutritious meal that we don't have to work for it. So always remain humble in following in the footsteps of our predecessor acharyas. That should be the mood. So, to follow a Brijvasi, Rupa Goswami says, Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrahe tadbhava lipsuna karya vraja lokanut artaha. And the translation is, the advanced devotee who is inclined to spontaneous loving service should follow the activities of a particular associate of Krishna in Vrindavan. How would you know Krishna as associate is Rupa Goswami? He is a Brijvasi. The mood and mission is which manjari Rupa Goswami belongs to?
Rupa Manjari.
Rupa Manjari. So you can understand it is directly connecting us to Lord Shri Krishna. So he should execute service externally as a regulative devotee, as well as internally from the self-realized position. And when our self-realized position will be added to it, it becomes very congenial push to move further. Thus, he should perform devotional service both externally and internally. So we saw all this, and we also saw the importance of such growth in our not only psyche but also in practice, which is of rather intense and personalized devotional service. Okay, so anyway, let's read quickly and then move on. A devotee is identified herein as possessed of two forms, sadhaka rupa and siddha rupa. The sadhaka rupa is the form in which a devotee practices devotional service following Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in order to realize the siddha rupa of an associate of Radha and Krishna. The sadhaka rupa and siddha rupa, we have to realize by following in the footsteps of the Brijvasi. So, unless and until we know the mood and mission of Rupa Goswami as a Rupa Manjari and adopt his ways and understanding or realizations now of the Leelas and those mood of Rupa Manjari, our following externally as well as internally combined. So Rupa Goswami's instructions must be fore and foremost in developing our progressive devotional service. At the same time, it permits us to meditate internally the style and achievement of the rasa in his explanation or writings of intimate literature like Lalita Madhav, then there are so many literatures he wrote, but they are of his realization. The sadhak rupa of the practitioner may be in the form of a conditioned soul, of a liberated soul, or of an associate of Lord Chaitanya, like that of Sanatana Goswami. Although they all look like and conduct themselves as practicing devotees, at first, two are new to devotional service, while the third is eternally liberated. When we see the picture of 6 Goswamis, they are also holding a bid bag in their hand. They are very simple, but always their serenity is shown by absorption in thoughts of Krishna. And they were busy in excavating places of pilgrimage of Krishna's pastimes that we do today by their mercy. Otherwise, who would have exposed Vrindavan besides them? And anyone else who has become a little popular out of our sampradaya, we do not give much credence to him. But their story is not much congenial. So it is better and safe to follow Rupa Goswami and other 5 Goswamis. Then their disciples like Narottam Das Thakur, Lokanath Swami, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. There's so much of following is there. Although they all look alike, all the three means the neophyte, the practitioner but not realized, and the realized soul, and conduct themselves as practicing devotees. Okay. But two are not liberated, third is eternally liberated. It is their activities of practicing devotion and preaching that they are common, because they came from the same tree. The branches are there. The Siddharupa is realized spiritual form of a devotee, also known as Swarupa. For Gaudiya Vaishnavas, their Siddharupa as a Brajvasi is one of the 4 relationships explained in chapter 4 of this book. We shall first show how both practicing and liberated devotees follow a Brajvasi in their Siddharupa. In this verse, Srila Prabhupada translates Siddharupa as a body suitable for eternal self-realized service and his self-realized position. The immediate sense of this translation would be that the Siddharupa refers to the self-realized form of a devotee to his Swarupa. What is the common denominator of realizing the Swarupa? Jivir Swarupa Hoyer Nityar Krishna Das is eternally a servant of the servant of Lord Shri Krishna. Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayo Dasa 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 Anudas. This is understandable when Raganuga Bhakta is at the stage of Bhava. Asakti is there, but Bhava, when he has realization of his eternal self-realized service. But how is it applicable when Raganuga Bhakta is still in the stage of sadhana? After all, Raganuga Bhakti is defined as a branch of devotional service in practice. How then could a practicing devotee, a conditioned soul, have a self-realized position? These were the questions that we have to deal with. One must conclude that the context of sadhana bhakti is the word siddha can also be understood in another way. And Prabhupada explains this. Fortunately, Srila Prabhupada gives that other understanding is another translation of the same verse. And he did. That in the transcendental realm of Vrajadam, one should serve the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna with a feeling similar to that of his associates. And one should place himself under the direct guidance of a particular associate of Krishna and should follow in his footsteps. This method is applicable both in the stage of sadhana, spiritual practice is executed while in the stage of bondage. Even though we are not liberated, but we have accessibility to develop this, strictly following in the footsteps of our predecessor acharyas. So, in the stage of sadhya, God realization, this is also applicable. When one is a siddha purusha or spiritually perfect soul, that means in the stage of God realization, he is said to be a spiritually perfect soul. This more elaborate translation of Siddharupa answers our question. In the case of sadhaka and Siddharupa, refers to his aspiration or mentally conceived body, and only where the devotee has gone beyond the stage of sadhana is Siddharupa of the realized spiritual form. So, by continuing sadhana, Siddharupa will be realized. So, sadhak is said to be having Siddharupa. The realization comes in time. Srila Prabhupada elaborates that what this mentally conceived body is, that one is fixed in taking up a particular following. Following in means accepting the mood as well as mission. Right now we are following mood and mission of Srila Prabhupada, and that is also part of the Sankirtan Leela, which can be easily connected with Krishna Lila. So we have to show this kind of finality of following. If we say we are following Prabhupada, at what extent we are following? In commenting on the following well-known verse, Jiva Goswami confirms that practicing devotee should fix their minds by engaging in meditation. Then he goes on to say that the word sneha or affection refers to the sadhaka's attraction towards the raga. Sneha means affection. So in sadhaka stage, we have the attraction, and by coming and visualizing the face of Radha Shyam Sundar, prior to that, our face has also become pleasant and conveniently comparable to the mood of Radha Shyam Sundar. And seeing it, we get confirmed. Everybody loves to rush to the altar of Radha Shyam Sundar because their face and everything would be so beautifully decorated that it becomes very attractive. And the sadhaka reflects that attraction called sneha. Have you ever seen somebody coming in front of Radha Shyam Sundar in a very angry mood or otherwise? Get away from him. There are sahajiyas who fight with the Lord because they think Lord is my partner in my business, and if I could not do the business on that day, he will come and chastise. What were you doing? Can't you see? We lost so much. I have seen such a person in front of 100 form of Ranchod Rai. There are sahajiyas there. But they become mad. So, Srila Prabhupada paraphrases this affection as feeling similar to that of his associates. And following in this line, then we also see Lalita, Vishakha, and how they are engaged in service of Radha Shyam Sundar. To me, whenever I see Vishakha, she has a little tense face, and I get a little mortified. I'm afraid that she might be displeased. But Lalita is a big heart. She has a smiling face, But my attraction is towards Vishakha more because she has that mood, and it startles me, and I cannot think otherwise. But whenever I see Vishakha, sometimes I see Vishakha and the photographs my disciples sent me every day, and I have cultivated a habit, and they put Radha Shyam Sundar then photo of Vishakha, and afterwards they put photo of Lalita. And Vishakha, because of she's standing on the left side of Krishna, you know, I don't know, but somehow or another, she has a little tense face, according to my observing. But Lalita is not. Maybe defect in my eyes or my thinking, but it gives me a mood that if I follow Vishakha and all other gopis that we call left-wing gopis, Vishakha, Indulekha, then Rangadevi and Sudevi. These are situated on the left side of Radhashyam Sundar, you know. But I'm a little bit, very concerned, and as if I have done something wrong, and I try to appease her, but I don't have to do to Lalita. I cannot express that to Lalita, that, oh no, that's okay. But as we read and interactions of Lalita with Krishna, we consider she is on a little higher intensified mood, that she can rebuke even Krishna if Radharani is displeased. So you can understand, where will you fit? It is difficult to fit, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes about Lalita Sundari. Lalita Sundari must be followed if you want to approach Srimati Radharani and Krishna, But if you follow Vishakha, she will try to, melt your heart more. That if you don't have that mood of, like her, very stern and fearful, then don't commit any mistake. If you want to see, I will check you. Like that. So in this kind of thinking, we have at least the mood of Vishakha to be known. So Tasmad Vairanu Bandhena Nirvirena Bhayena Va Snehat Kamena Va Yunjat Kathanchina Neschate Prathak. Therefore, by enmity or by devotional service, by fear or by affection or lusty desires, by all of these or any one of them, if a conditioned soul somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Lord, the result is the same. For the Lord, because of his blissful position, is never affected by enmity or friendship. This has been spoken in Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, 1st chapter, 26th verse. The concept of mentally conceived identity is further supported by another verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, wherein Narad calls the absorption of such devotion mana aveshya, absorption of the mind, which Srila Prabhupada translates in the context as, I shall now explain how one receives Krishna's mercy simply by concentrating one's mind upon him. This is also from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, first chapter, 38th verse. In the context of the practitioner Siddharupa, when indicates the identity conceived of the mind in which expresses feeling of or affection as for one of the Ragatmika Bhakti, it is not a realized transcendental identity. It is not a realized transcendental identity. So in the Siddharupa, the practitioner indicates an identity conceived in his mind, which expresses a feeling or affection one has for Ragatmika Bhakti. It is not a realized transcendental identity, but it is conceived. But then eventually you have to prove it. So there are verifications at different stages. Further statement by Narad, like Tasmat kenapi upayena manah Krishna niveshet, confirms that the sadhaka should engage his mind in thinking of Krishna by hook or crook, and his terminology as translated by Srila Prabhupada is quite general. The sage says, somehow or another, one should concentrate the mind, and somehow or other, one must consider the form of Krishna very seriously. This is also spoken in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, 22nd chapter, 159th verse. But what are the aspects like sages or the age, dress, and the form of such mentally conceived Siddhadeha? After all, conditioned souls may have an inclination for a kind of service, but will imagining another aspect of their spiritual identity lead to mental speculation and risk of deviation? Yes. In the answer to this question, some authorities recommend that the spiritual master assign this aspect of Siddhadeha to the disciple based on their qualification of Ragatmika Bhakti and their clear inclination for Raga. So we have seen, I mentioned this before too, that even in the temple, the Sahajiya, they are conceiving within their mind what the Pujari is going to put the color on Radharani, and the lady will wear the same kind of color, thinking Radharani belongs to her. But this is an apparent example that I have seen even. Have you ever seen the ladies group, especially coming from Gujarat, when they are on pilgrimage, they wear the same kind of sari as a uniform? Same kind of sari. That is something of a little sahajiya aspect, because everybody is not following one particular personality in their Siddhadeha, but yet they want to step forward without proper qualification or understanding. However, neither Srila Prabhupada nor Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur adopt this system of approved of it as a viable approach in worldwide preaching movement. We can't, imitate or follow some unauthorized, thinking in Ragatmika aspect. Such a practice requires accomplished spiritual master and highly qualified disciples. Furthermore, Gaudiya Vaishnava history has proven that assigning this kind of Siddha Deha gives rise to a plethora of pseudo-Vaishnava schools known as the Sahajiyas. This is explained by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that he listed 13 main Sahajiya sects, namely Aula, Baula, Kartabhaja, Neda, Darvesha, Sani, Sahajiya, Shakhipekhi, Smarta, Jata Gosai, Ativadi, Chudadhari, and Gauranga Nagari. This is also explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, first chapter, 271st verse. Rather than elevating their followers' attraction to Ragatmika Bhakti, they simply increase their attraction for material raga. By practicing sense gratification in the name of transcendence, Sahajiyas not only remained bound to this world, but ruined the reputation of Gaudiya Vaishnavism in process. This is hardly the risk acharyas would want to take today while striving for world recognition of Lord Chaitanya's teachings. What form then is the Raganugat sadhaka to think of when serving in his Siddha Deha as per Rupa Goswami's direction? A very general one. Don't anticipate something special because you think you are special. General. In the way that regulated devotees think of themselves in general way, I am Krishna's eternal servant. Spontaneous devotees should similarly think of themselves, I am the servant of a Brijvasi. In Jiva Goswami's words, I am different from Subala, but yearn for the service like his. Not I am Subala. In other words, other than wanting to be a cowherd boy, a young gopi, or an elder of Raja, one should not attempt to progress further by the way of imagined personality traits. This restricted self-identification may be compared to general category of love, rati, known as Shuddha rati, which arises in an advanced devotee. Rati means attraction. Shuddha rati. Having explored the meaning of Siddha Deha and how a Raganuga Bhakta conceives of it, let us now return to Rupa Goswami's guidance on how to serve a Brajavasi in that way? Huh? I jumped.
You jumped a paragraph or two. We were still up. Yes, indeed.
This one is remaining.
Still up here.
Okay. Okay.
This one. You got
Okay.
this sentence.
All right. This restricted self-identification may be compared to the general category of love, that is rati, known as Shuddha rati, which arises in the advanced devotee. Due to its immaturity, that we have seen this topic was described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, second canto, 5th chapter, 1st verse, to second canto, 5th chapter, 16 verses. Oh my God, 16 verses are there to describe. Due to its immaturity, this kind of love does not possess the feature of the other mellows such as servitude and so on, for which reason it is known as ordinary love or samanya rati. In time proper, association and practice elevates this ordinary love to one of the four kinds of relationship. Similarly, raganuga sadhakas should be content with his general or ordinary kind of siddha deha without speculating on specific of a form. He should instead hear of a Brajavasi's service, yearn to assist him or her, and think always to do under a spiritual master's guidance. Then, by power of bhakti, one enters in the stage of ecstasy. Then the details of one's real swarupa become manifest, and one's meditation go from the conceived to the factual, and hence from the general to specific. It means we should not rush into establishing our Siddha Deha and attraction by choosing ourselves even in immaturity. But we should follow, keep on following strictly to a Brijvasi. Having explored the meaning of Siddha Deha and how Raganuga Bhakta conceived of it, let us now return to Rupa Goswami's guidance on how to serve a Brijvasi in that way. Put simply, one is meant to follow the activities of the Lord's associates. Anusarataha. From Rupa Goswami to Srila Prabhupada, Acharyas have emphasized that in their meditation, practitioners follow the associates of Krishna as they carry out specific service. That means that practitioners meditate on what they have heard about how Raktaka, Sridham, Mother Yashoda, or Rupa Manjaris go about their service to Krishna or to the divine couple. In keeping with the aforementioned prohibition on imagining spiritual attributes, the Acharyas explain that cultivation of raga takes place when, based on what one has heard from authorized sources, one remembers the service attributes in the moods of one's role model. Although in his writing, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur encourages the sadhaka to perform services mentally, such an instruction should be understood to refer to those devotees who have already realized their swarupa and not to those who conceive of Siddha Deha. This has been explained in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, second canto, 5th chapter to 16 that we have already described. In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, the Acharya writes, one's internal spiritual body, one is to follow in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Manjari, while performing his service mentally. Who wrote Sindhu Bindu? Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu Bindu. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Right, he is being quoted that in one's internal spiritual body, one is to follow in the footsteps of Sri Rupa Manjari while performing his service mentally. In other words, the meditation of Raganuga Bhakta may be compared to that of an observer rather than that of an active participant. Means if we have to follow, first we have to observe, then try to attempt in that mood. This notion of being an observer is reinforced by the mantras and songs that all devotees utter during their scheduled meditations. While chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and meditating on Diksha mantras, that means Gayatris and others. Srila Prabhupada's translation of the Mahamantra gives unequivocal support of this notion. O energy of the Lord Hare, O all attractive Lord Krishna, O the supreme enjoyer Rama, please engage me in your service. Right? This is the reference that Srila Prabhupada has been telling, the quest of enlightenment, chapter number 8, the small book. The message is clear. A devotee who, while chanting japa or doing kirtan, spontaneously remembers his Brajvasi role model will do so as one aspiring after, not as one engaged in service. And this is the mode of separation in which Gaudiya Vaishnava performs all activities. In Srila Prabhupada's words, we should follow in the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya and the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan. They were always serving Krishna in the mood of separation. They never said that now I have seen Krishna or last night I danced with Krishna. No, they were crying, where is Krishna? And they were always searching after him. He Radhe Brajadevi Ke Chalalite, He Nanda Suno Kutaha. They never claimed, I have seen Krishna even. They are always longing to see him in the mood of separation. So they were crying, where is Krishna? And they were always searching after him, wondering when they could finally be able to see him. We should also desire intensely to see and be with Krishna. But first thing is to become purified through devotional service. It is not possible otherwise. This is also the reference. Prabhupada wrote a letter to Lalita Priya on May 7th, 1975, Perth, Australia. So during Prabhupada's time, some devotees were inquiring about the internal bhajan. So, therefore, Raganuga sadhakas may observe the services of their role model, but until they have actually been awarded with their own specific services, they should simply hanker for them. That will make attainment of all the more relishable. Now, this seems to be like a Nirjan Bhajan at a general level of our engagement in devotional service given by our temple and the management. We must be first ready to accept any and every service. Many devotees desire only specific services of their liking. It is not that what is the need of the center. Many times that has been observed that we become specific that unless and until this particular service is given to me, I will do, otherwise I will pass it on. But the mood and mission of a particular service that you desire, do you deserve that first? That attitude in the beginning is not a qualifying attribute of Raganuga Bhakti. Actually, spontaneity can be also achieved in accepting any service. If you become attached to a particular service in the temple and will not perform otherwise, that is due to physical attachment, not mental attachment, what to speak of spiritual attachment. Prabhupada was all-rounder. In every aspect. Therefore, he became an ideal example in performing any service that he can be followed. Srila Prabhupada taught, and devotees followed. They gave up tissue paper and started using lota in the toilet. They shaved up because Prabhupada said. They went on the street and danced in chanting Hare Krishna because Prabhupada taught. They were following Srila Prabhupada 100%, even though they were very, very neophytes. And few who were acquainted with the philosophy, they were coming to converse with Indians. And Indians were, are they serious? You are promoting them. They were telling me because I was in a liaison service to Indian community. So they were saying, oh, are you sure? As if they know more than me. They can doubt and they can say without any of their practices in that reference. So this is a disqualification that they may not be able to progress further unless and until they come in association of such devotees and they see themselves, their life and mission. It is so dedicated without even having thoroughly observing the regulated principles. They promised, but they were the one who were empowered intrinsically to establish the movement by following Prabhupada 100%. So this is the spiritual strength, and then they were given opportunity to follow Srila Prabhupada, and that was good enough. They were so fortunate to follow Srila Prabhupada. In the absence of Srila Prabhupada, we may be thinking we are following Srila Prabhupada. Oh, we have read and everything. I know. But there is always some lacuna in our life. Srila Prabhupada has said that much about prematurity adopting a position that has not really been deserved by the ardent longing brought about through the service of separation. Therefore, Raganuga sadhakas may observe the service of their role model, but until they have actually been awarded with their own specific services, they should simply hanker for them. That will make the attainment all more relishable. Srila Prabhupada was serving in the mood of separation, but he was so much intensely admitting that my spiritual master never left me, or Krishna was always helping me. You know. In Gita Mala, Bhaktivinoda Thakur expresses the mood of longing the service throughout his songs. Palya dasi kori lalita sundari amar loya kabe Shri Radhikar pade kale milibare anjase ba same samarpibe. When accepting me as her maidservant to be protected by her beautiful Lalita placed me before Sri Radha's feet and command me to serve her. Say the longing. When? This is the song in Gita Mala. Siddhi Lalsa. The Lalsa is there. Fourth chapter, first verse. The fourth song in that sense. As with the chanting of the Mahamantra, meditation on Diksha mantras is in mood of separation and not attainment. This is supported by the concluding word of Brahma. Guru Gaura and Kamagayatris Prachodayat. This is the request to be inspired in the respective moods of the mantra. Similarly, the concluding word of Gopala mantra, Swaha, is an offering of the self to the mood of mantra. Those who are second initiates, our meditation should go on those understanding that has been described again. The Guru Gayatri, Brahma Gayatri means the Savitra Gayatri, Guru Gayatri, Gaura
Did you get on with to change off Bhavani? Go on to change off Bhavani and go onto your phone.
Bhavan?
No. Oh, you're on your phone. No, you go on to VVPS.
VPS?
Yeah, go on to VVPS.
On my hotspot?
Yeah, on your hotspot. Because the Bhavani seems to be off.
Wi-Fi should turn off.
Oops, let me no, you keep it on. I'm turning this one off. Your personal hotspot is grayed out. Okay, you better go on my personal hotspot. I don't know what's wrong with yours.
No.
No, I can't turn your hotspot on.
Hotspot?
Yeah, your hotspot is grayed out. So find mine, Gurmach.
Huh?
Find mine. Lavangalata's iPhone, I think it says.
Yeah. Where do I say?
Up here. Find Lavangalata's iPhone.
Along with the iPhone.
Okay, now you're connected there. Now you should be able to go back on Zoom.
Okay.
Yeah, now you should be able to go back on Zoom.
We are not connected to internet. Oh. Yours is also down. Okay. Okay.
I don't know why yours is not connected. Mine's good enough for both of us. Hopefully mine's good enough for both of us.
Recording in progress.
Let me just disconnect.
Hare Krishna. I'm back.
So just that paragraph.
Huh?
Just that paragraph.
Okay. So, in the example of Brahma Gayatri, the disciple meditates on service to the divine couple as the ultimate religion of the three worlds. While vibrating the Guru Gayatri, the disciple's meditation is on the Guru's service to Krishna. And in the case of Gaura Gayatri, one meditates on Lord Chaitanya as the dispenser of Krishna Prema. In the Gopala Mantra, on Krishna as the object of four moods of devotion, and in the Kama Gayatri as Krishna, the impetus for conjugal love. This has been explained and elaborately of these mantras can be found in the author's Navavraja Mahima, volume 7. So we will have to refer to Navavraja Mahima. Shivram Maharaj's book is there. This was his meaning. Of all mantras, the one that is chanted by sannyas is most explicitly emphasizes the need to take shelter of the mood, bhava, of the Vrajavasis, especially the gopis. Having been blessed by that shelter, the purified devotee realizes the 11 attributes integral to her spiritual identity and serves the divine couple with little care for anything else. This has also been clarified as the attributes pertaining to one's spiritual identity are 11 in numbers. They are called Ekadasha Bhava and are described individually in Jaiva Dharma, chapter 39. And in the summary, they are that what is the bhava of our Swarupa? It says relationship, age, name, form, group, dress, specific service, residence, general service, and ultimate aspiration, and the mood of a maid servant. These are 11 bhavas. So that will be also explained in detail later. But in the internal bhajan, we are supposed to know stage-wise improvement. All the mantras nourish the mood of spontaneous attachment, and none of them directly expound specific service or attributes. Their explicit message clearly places the worshipper as an observer of transcendental reality. Although their divine potencies undoubtedly disclose all esoteric attributes to the qualified soul. So this process of meditation, those who are second initiates should start if they have not been doing. When you chant your Gayatri, meditate on the meaning. So it is extremely important because it is a stage-wise upliftment to the next stage of bhava. So this process of meditation, meditating on the associates of the Lord can be linked to the cleansing of the mirror of the heart. In this example, the mirror is of the devotee's meditation on the service of Brijvasis, and that should be refined and refined by the sadhana. As the Raganuga Bhaktas become both purified at heart and adept at absorbing his mind, his own services and attributes become visible by the grace of Brajvasi. During Mangalarti, when they chant the 5th and 6th verses of the Guru Ashtakams, Shri Radhika Madhavayorapara Madhurya Leela Gunarupa Namnam. Vande Guru Shri Charanarvindam. Hear and chant about the wonderful pastimes between Radhika and Madhav, which are all in the moods of loving exchanges, Madhurya Leela, as well as about their quality, name, and form. The spiritual master aspires, after relishing these things as every moment, I offer my respectful obeisances to the spiritual master. Nikunjayu no Ratikali Siksha. Haribol, you're still there? Okay. So, Nikunjayuno Ratikeli Siddhyaya Libi Yati Apekshaniya Tatradidaksha Dati Vallabhasya Vande Guru Sri Charana Ravindam. The spiritual master is very much expert in assisting the gopis who are engaged in perfection of Radha Krishna's conjugal love affairs. At different times, they make different tasteful arrangements for such spiritual exchanges, and the spiritual master is there to assist in their affairs. I offer my most humble obeisances unto the lotus feet of such a spiritual master. So, these are the meditative aspects, and we will look into this tomorrow also, because we are entering into the important subject that what we are already been performing, but we are not performing in that mood and of understanding. So our intensified sadhana and exposure of being the sadhak, or and our internal meditation will help us in that. So, anybody has any questions? Should we continue tomorrow or what? Any question now? Haribol.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj, please accept my humble obeisances.
Prabhupada.
No, we can continue.
Internet problems.
Yes, we can continue tomorrow, Maharaj. That is fine.
Okay. But no question so far?
Based on what we discussed today, Maharaj, my understanding is that at the moment, first, the sadhaka actually is in a contemplative mood of understanding what is the position in the service of the Vrajvasi whom he wishes to follow, and then is contemplating on what those services that are being performed and the mood in which, so that he can imbibe that, and later when he is actually given that service, then he is able to execute. Is that in summary the understanding?
But how would we be knowing that what is the specific services of a Brijvasi unless you read their literature? Unless you study them?
Yes.
We have a very shallow reading of our predecessor Acharya's books. Very shallow practices. We don't have much inclination to read those books to understand that we will be ending up following them. So those who are attending this particular series of lessons and understanding our nature, Sri Varam Maharaj will take us to the highest realm of Krishna in Vrindavan.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj.
Yes, ma'am.
Dhanavad Pranam Gurudev. No, please finish what you were saying, then I'll ask my questions.
We should read our predecessor Acharya's books. We should study. We should study what is their meditation is about. So simultaneously, understanding this, we must have to adapt the mood, or unless, we approach a person who has read the books of Srila Prabhupada and Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's and Bhakti Vinod and so many of this to come in there. This is a subject matter of our final security and progressive march towards going back home, back to Godhead. This is the training. Do you feel it is very rigorous training? It is allowing us to practice even without liberation. Then why it becomes so rigorous? Liberation is on the way. We don't have to wait. But we have to perform the sadhana with our favorite hero, a Brajvasi. Now say Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Yeah.
Please accept my humble obeisances. My question was that's like, in order for us to identify which particular associate of Raja are we drawn to, we are supposed to be hearing from advanced devotees and our spiritual masters, right?
You have to express through your devotional service, where is your mind attached to? Which particular power? Then you have to be guided in that line. Spiritual master is guiding, but then he will also tell you that you have to follow a specific leadership, those who are recognized during our time and participation of the movement that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established. So Goswamis are ideal, and so is whoever has written so much literature. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has shown the Sankirtan movement, and everything was contained in it. But we have to realize, so what particular aspect would you be preferring in our Sankirtan movement, which will be more relishable and concentratedly relishable with your mood and proper training in that expertise? That will be the success. It will expose your Swarupa also. But you have to come forward. Then spiritual master can put up a trial and error in that specific services. That has been the process. I cannot read mind of my devotees or disciples to establish mood and mission and assign them. No. You and Krishna, this path is very narrow, and nobody else will be brought in. spiritual master helps, but he is not an hindrance in that path, but leaves you and Krishna and the most perfected stages of realizing Krishna. So you can enter. That function is coming, but we understood that why do we chant Guru Ashtakam and this particular 2 verses? What do that indicate? What is the mood of the spiritual master? What is his functions? How is it that we extol the spiritual master to be as good as God? Sakshadhari Tvena. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur wrote this in order to establish our eternal relationship. But in eternity, the sequential progress is there, and we have to rise above. What is the fun to be eternally situated in our present condition or present development of our internal meditation forever? No, it is progressive. And we have to allow it to happen through the tutelage of our predecessor acharyas, the Brijvasis. And we can only go through their literature. So we have to cultivate a compulsory habit to read the literature left by our Goswamis. We have to know. Through their literature, we will see the mindset.
Gurudev, other than Srimad Bhagavatam, which other literatures will help us in understanding the different activities, moods, and services of the Brajvasis and the Gopis?
Yeah, but before reaching to the Gopis, we have to reach to those who are the same identity, like Rupa Manjari is Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami manifested his mood of Rupa Manjari in eternal Leela. But this mood we have to follow. Rupa Manjari did not leave any literature for us, but Rupa Goswami did. So if we are studying Rupa Goswami's literature, then we have to follow his way. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made him Rasacharya, so he teaches us. So we have also to study and teach the subject matter that Rupa Goswami mastered. As a lifetime preparation required that. We can't rush in, but systematically, follow in the footsteps. So we should know what is the mood and mission of our Brijvasi.
Yes, Guru Maharaj. So we should systematically go through all the books of Srila Rupa Goswami Pad.
Naturally, if you want to follow.
Yes, Gurudev.
And who is following Rupa Goswami? We have a continuous disciplic succession. Their literature is available.
Yes, Gurudev. Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
None of these Brijvasis are explaining in our time that Bhaktivinoda Thakur also shows us some glimpse, but would not reveal his intimate or internal bhajan, but he guides us. Rupa Goswami, his literature and the instructive literature that prepares us up to a certain position, but his own relishment on Lalit Madhav and Vidagdha Madhav and so many things like Raghunath Goswami and Vilap Kusumanjali. Shivram Maharaj has done all this. So we have a lot of volume to study, but this is our guide to develop our own devotional service under our own suitable tutelage of Brijavasi. Everyone has to find out. We must know the process and how to qualify. It is accessible. That doesn't mean we got it. We have to strive and try to grab whatever we can. But nobody can say, oh, nobody knows, or it's not available. Now everything is available. We are referring to the authorized scriptures of our Goswami. We have been guided to not become pitfall in the hands of upstarts like Apasampradayas, came out from the misuse of the teachings of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And today there are so many Sahajiyas, everybody is jumping on a vacancy and becoming Mahanta.
Gurudev, are we going to go through Haribol?
Yes.
Are we going to go through all the books of Shivram Maharaj together?
Yes. One by one.
Thank you, Gurudev.
One by one. Just bless me a long life.
We can pray for you. We cannot bless you, Gurudev.
Yeah. Because I need to be benefited. I am also.
And see,
Yeah. I want to trade in the path and you are following. So thank you for supporting me. You push me and I will drag you.
thank you so much for organizing this, Gurudev. It means a lot to us. Please bless all of us that we may follow in your footsteps and that of Srila Prabhupada and our acharyas.
There's so many words and so many written things. We may not be able to comprehend, but at least we try to understand the system. That's good. This is so much in detail with reference to context. You cannot simply, blurt out anything and everything without any context of our previous acharyas.
Thank you, Gurudev.
Hare
Dandavat
Krishna.
pranam.
Jai. Haribol, anybody else? The stalwarts? All right, we'll see tomorrow. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah,